Applied imagination. It's the culmination of everything I've ever loved to do. It started out years ago with toy trains. Ever since I was a toddler, trains have been part of my life. But I also love gardening, love architecture. In fact, started out in college to be an architect, but found that boring when it came to the engineering side of it and ventured on into landscape architecture. When these toy trains came out that could be used outside, that was a ticket for me.
Applied Imagination is a collective group of artists who are very talented and have learned a lot over the years and bring together a fantastic product that we call Garden Railway.
Paul is still the inspiration behind the company. Paul started the company. This was his fantasy from a child made to live.
Well, today my purpose is to just be an inspiration. I've dealt with Parkinson's as I've gotten older, but I still love being an inspiration. Don't look at it so much as losing my hands, as I've taught and encouraged a dozen other hands to take my place. Believe it or not, they're actually taking it farther than I ever could. That's kind of a blessing in disguise that I didn't expect. That the whole gang is going to take this beyond my wildest dreams.
My father Paul has a fantastic history. I know it goes way back to his childhood in Kansas City, Missouri. As a kid, he thoroughly enjoyed trains.
My background as a landscape architect was perfect for starting the Garden Railway business because it combined all the mechanics, the 3 dimension of the space, and the need for gardening and waterfalls and lighting, all the color, texture, and action you could ask for rolled into one. I think Applied Imagination is really just an evolution of all my favorite things.
He tells me that when he'd go to Grandma's house, the first thing he would do is run next door to the neighbor who had a train that you could ride on in the backyard. So it wasn't about visiting Grandma, it was about seeing the train next door.
Definitely can give credit to my grandma and grandpa for Saturday would be spent with Grandpa watching trains. And then next to their house, a retired railroad engineer had a train in his backyard, which was ultimate for me. So I think that's where the seed was planted. Then I moved to Cincinnati when I was in high school and continued to enjoy model railroading. But it was in 1975 when my son Brian was born that I discovered G-scale.
You know, he started getting to the G-scale trains, the trains that could be used in gardens that were weatherproof. It was shortly thereafter that he started to experiment with, gardens and trains.
And it was awesome. I mean, here's a perfect train. It was big, it was waterproof. What a cool idea. I think I had $180 in my pocket. And the train set cost $175, so I didn't hesitate for a second to spend my last dime on it.
You feel that he is really in love with what he's doing. This is part of his heart and his passion. I know he's always loved trains. Every time he showed up to even a special event here where he was dressed in something a little nicer, he'd always have his train suspenders on. So this is always a very unique part of his personality.
My suspenders have kind of become my trademark. You sort of reach a certain age, you don't have anything to hook your pants onto anymore, so besides being functional, I thought they were the perfect format for a train track, so I used to paint my own But I had so many requests for him that we started making them.
Paul's the man that I've looked up to my whole life. Basically, I wouldn't be here, wouldn't be doing this, wouldn't be the person I am if it wasn't for him. Paul is Applied Imagination, point blank.